This guy has been inspected and approved by Luminous.
Hey guys, this is SunsFan and welcome to the official Dota Cinema Guide to Bane. If you aren't familiar with this hero, you may want to watch the introduction we did for him at the corresponding link. Bane is an intelligence hero who has the reputation of having the potential to take 3 enemies out of a team fight. He's a very level dependent hero who could really benefit from soloing mid since he is such a strong ganker. Skill build. Getting a quick level of Nightmare right away is a good idea, as you can disable a target for 4 seconds just by having it at level 1. This can be useful for getaway sequences in the very early stages, or can even be used to set up First Blood. After this, your first priority is to max out Brain Sap since it's your main nuke and provide you with a nice chunk of HP in order to stay in lane. At level 4, players tend to get an early level of stats since the mana capacity is a real issue for Bane. Also, getting additional level of Nightmare at this point really doesn't matter since it gains only 1 additional second per level. For your ultimate Fiend's Grip, make sure to skill it at the standard 6, 11, and 16. At levels 8, 9, 10, players usually go for levels of Nightmare and then max Enfeeble starting at 12. In some situations, skilling Enfeeble earlier could really be beneficial, since it could be used to make last hitting a real bitch for your opponent. The problem with this is your mana pool will really take a hit from this, so taking Enfeeble later is usually the choice. Item build. To start with, get your basic regeneration and Iron Branches, since they're the most efficient buy at the beginning of the game. If you're playing the support role, be sure to purchase the Wards or Courier. For early items, getting a Soul Ring is extremely good on Bane since you'll be able to spam Brain Sap, which in turn will heal what HP you've lost from using the ring. For boots, you could argue Tread, but we're going to say Arcane Boots since Bane has such a miserable time with mana. Plus, you aren't exactly a carry, so chances are your teammates would really appreciate some mana as well. Aside from these pickups, there's no true core build for Bane since every game's needs will be unique. A BKB or even Lincoln Sphere could be a great pickup if you're having trouble getting your Fiend's Grip off. Some utility items that are always helpful would be a Force Staff, Necronomicon, and Yules. A really great ganking item if you're dominating as a solo mid would be a Blink Dagger, which will allow you to initiate a lot easier with pristine positioning. In the late stages, a Hex would be a great pickup, as it's generally considered one of the best items in the entire game. Aghanim Scepter is pretty decent on Bane, especially if you're able to get consistent ultimates off. Gameplay. If you're in a dual lane, try and set up a First Blood with Nightmare if possible. What a level 1 Nightmare will allow you to do is stand around the enemy for 4 seconds, planning your stuns accordingly. So be sure to layer them correctly or else it will be just plain embarrassing. In the early to mid stages, your job is to get enough mana regeneration so that you can harass the enemy endlessly. Also, make sure to roam around a bit from lane to lane to set up kills. When you do this, you have to be judicious with your mana. Keep in mind that Bane's spell costs a lot of mana and have long cooldowns, so after gauging the situation, decide which, if any, of your spells will be needed to ensure a kill. If you have your ultimate while ganking a dual lane, just do the obvious thing and sleep the hero you don't care about, and Fiend's Grip the other. Easy kill. But don't make the mistake of moving around too much because, like we mentioned earlier, levels are extremely important for Bane. In team fights, just remember that you can essentially render 3 heroes completely useless. Obviously the downside is you need to get close enough to actually cast these abilities, and being an intelligence hero, this can be pretty difficult since you're quite squishy. But try and position yourself out of harm's way to Nightmare one hero, Enfeeble whoever's doing the most right-click damage, and then Fiend's Grip your third target, someone who you feel your team can take down in time. And although Brain Sap is a great overall nuke, you could potentially play mind games with the enemy. You can bait them into going for you, knowing full well you have a great nuke / heal to finish them off. Also know that casting Nightmare on your allies could potentially save them in certain situations, since the enemy's first instinct is to not attack a Nightmare target. It can also be used to deny yourself or allies if need be. Friends and foes. Good lane partners with Bane would be those that can take use of your Nightmare ability. Pudge is a great example as he can easily line up a hook because of this. Morana, yet another example who can set up an easy arrow. And AA can also set up his array of skills as well. Counters to Bane would be those that disable his ultimate as well as destroy what little mana he has to begin with, therefore making him a walking purple people eater. Silencer is a perfect example of this since he can not only drain mana but also disable Fiend's Grip through BKB. Beastmaster, Vengeful Spirit, and Void are other examples of heroes that can easily disable Fiend's Grip through BKB as well. Thanks for watching guys, and please remember to subscribe to our YouTube. Also, a special shout out goes to Flawless and Luminous for their help in writing this guide. You can check them out at their respective YouTube channels, which are linked in the video description. And finally, be sure to check out our new website at dotacinema.com, where you can find a ton of Dota 2 videos along with our live streaming page, which includes me playing with you guys on a nightly basis. My name is SunsFan, and until next time.